What's up, guys? It's Jesus here with the Van Bros, and today I'm going to be doing a deck profile on a deck I'm honestly shocked I haven't profiled in the longevity of the channel. You saw it in a fight video earlier on, but that was a completely different build. This build actually came out of a fit of frustration with this current deck, and I'm just going to go ahead and get started with it. So the deck that we're going to be doing today is Rezael. God, comment down below how sick you guys are of Rezael. The ride line stays the same. We're not really changing anything. We run Tranquila as the number one, grade 1 for Keter piles. Grade 2 off of Rezael calls, and Rezael, of course, you guys know what he does. He's been around since forever. Now this list, right off the bat, this list is going to be very different from what you guys are used to seeing. The main reason is because my grade 3 ratios are 4 copies of Vita. Vita, very important because he's the actual Vanguard that you're going to be writing into. 2 copies of OG Rezael, and 1 copy of Gabuelius. Before you click off, let me explain why I'm running so little copies of the OG Rezael. So this deck is so garbage because of the fact that you're forced to run 3 copies of this guy in the main deck and 2 copies of this piece of shit in the main deck as well. So in grade 3s alone, you're running, let's see, 9 cards that have no shield value. So while I was looking at the list with my best friend Marco, we were looking at the things that we kind of need to prioritize in order to streamline the deck. And Vita's effect activates just by putting a Rezael into the soul. So in the main deck, you have 5 targets aside from himself because you obviously have to write him. What does that mean? Pretty much, you have your persona rights here. You have 5 persona rights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 cards to activate the skill, and then the 1 Gabuelius. The whole point in running these cards is that we have more main deck room for cards to call out Gabuelius, cards to fill up a board, and you just start to notice that these guys aren't that necessary. I've been doing a few games with this build. I have had no issues with persona writing or proccing Rezael's skill to call 3. The power gain for the Vanguard, I mean, it's there, but really, does it even matter if the Vanguard's being perfect guarded every turn? Considering this is a perfect guard, like if you don't have a perfect guard, you might as well just take the hit. Like that's just the way it is. So the extra 5k, does it go a long way? Maybe in some cases, but I don't think it does in every case, and it's less common to see that 5k matter. So we're running 7 grade 3s in the main deck. That gives us room to run 4 copies of Noberis. You guys know what this guy does. 4 copies of Teethfault. You guys know what she does. And 4 copies of the dynamic duo Veltrosa and the fucking robot. You could drop this down to the grade 1 Maple if you really want, but I honestly just need her and her to call out this thing. These guys pretty much just call out your field, and that's all you need. This can also put back your Rezaels and Vitas so that you can keep persona writing or activating the skill. So you're really not having too hard of a time to dig for these pieces. We're also running in the grade 1s 4 copies of Sir Gown. It's the dog. You guys know what he does. As soon as he gets hit, this deck sucks. And there's literally no gray area. This deck is just garbage once the dog gets hit. 3 PGs because we run 1 Sanctitude. 2 copies of Aerial Sage. Aerial Sage is a toughie because running 2 kind of sucks because, you know, you might get choked on CB. But honestly, these cards right here should be able to call it out early on so you have one in rotation. So that's one of the big things about him. Against board wipe decks or against Befsagra where she can snipe it, if they're not giving you counterblast, if they're not swinging at your Vanguard, then I have no idea how they plan on winning, considering like you're still swinging 3 times and they're wasting a turn not swinging at you. So I don't know, I think that 2 of this is fine, but if not, you could cut the 1 Valtrosa for 3 copies of him if he's really that necessary. For the Regalis piece, you run 1 copy of the Fire Regalis. Doesn't activate, so you could literally do Counterblast 2 off of Wisdom to draw 2. You draw this thing, sucks, but you can still activate it to keep digging for your Gabuelius, digs for Valtrosas. It grabs anything that you would need. The only thing is it doesn't proc Regount, but that's where you have Wisdom. And then the 1 copy of Sanctitude. That's your main deck. The triggers don't change much. Red OT, 3 fronts, 8 crit, 4 heal. None of that stuff changes. Everything stays the same. Really the only thing that this deck does different than other Rezael lists is that we just cut some of the fat to add in more pieces to the main deck so that you're not stuck with a handful of grade 3s. Now, it will still happen. This deck still will run into that issue. But, I mean, if you're really thinking about it, why are we running 3 copies of this and 2 copies of this? Because you want to see this. Now you're running cards that can actually pull this guy out from the deck. Not only that, if you're being choked on CB, he's useless. If they're damage denying you, he's useless. You call him, Soul Blast 1, look at the top. Okay, cool, whatever. Against Artesaria, this is how you're going to see him most of the time. So he's a great card, but I'd rather have more control in how I see him. And yes, running less copies is less control, but in reality, I'd rather see 2 copies of Nilberis to remove him from the field, since the field's going to get wiped anyways. The 2 copies of Rezael, this isn't that bad, considering this deck shouldn't be going into like past like your 2nd or 3rd stride, or your 2nd or 3rd Persona ride. Anything after that, I think you're kind of losing. So we really don't need that many like targets. A lot of the stuff in your deck calls itself out, so you're still thinning enough for it to, you know, not really affect the way that you ride and call and all that. So yeah, that's the deck profile, and I hope you guys like it. If you guys hate it, comment down below why you guys don't like it. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.